Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Alex Builds. We're now going to have the next 6 stages of Build Your Own Fast and the Furious Nissan Skyline GTR. So this build has gone to 6 stages as well. So yeah, we've gone up from 3 up to the 6. So depending on what we are going to be doing during the issues, I may do part 1 and part 2 of the pack. This one, there's not too much to do. It's quite a full pack, but yeah, I know later on down the line there's loads to do in the pack, so I probably will be splitting them up. But for now, we can fit the 6 issues in. So this is still available. You can head on over to fanhome.com, just scan the QR code. That'll bring you to my link tree. It's got all my links in there, social media, Facebook groups, everything's in there. But also is the build pages as well. And also, if you haven't yet, please click the subscribe button down below as well. It helps the channel, boosts the channel. It's completely free. You'll be notified of any videos that we put out. So without further ado, let's get the parts out of the packaging and start building. Okay, so stage 9 is the one we're kicking off with today. Here is your magazine. As you can see, we get to the build stages at the back. We're continuing on with the front suspension. So we get these parts here. Basically what we're going to be doing is adding these 2 parts together, adding a bracket onto that, hold that on with some AM screws, adding this down to there. Basically going to be making up this arm here to go onto the lower arm that we've made there. And yeah, we add this little part on the back, and that is what we should have by the end of this issue. Okay, so to start off, we're going to need these 2 parts here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this part and slide that down into there. Then we're going to take this bracket here, we're going to lay that over the top, just like so, lining up with these 2 holes here. So lay that down onto there, just like that. And then we're going to secure that in the place from the front with 2 8M screws. Right, okay, let's get the first screw in. We are screwing into metal, so these are metal screws. So a lot of people do like to dip them in some like 3-in-1 oil. So if you want to do that before you screw them in. I generally find that the screws are a lot better than what they used to be, so I don't feel the need to do that. That is that on there, just like that. Okay, so just on the top of that, we are going to add this part here. So that's just going to line up just like so, I believe, this way. So we can add that onto there. We're going to use an 8IM screw. So let's get that in. This is a flange screw. So we can secure that all the way down. There we are. That is that on there. Then we can take these 2 parts here. So you want this little section towards the top. Then we're going to take this, slot that into there, then a couple of EM screws, 1 in each side, to secure that on. So we're going to get that done now. Line up your holes and just keep screwing until they go all the way through. Nearly there, just like that. Now we do exactly the same on the opposite side. Can be quite tight, but once you get it going, it does go in quite nice. So that's the way you want it, with that bit at the top just there, and that one just coming off to that side. Now it's quite difficult to see in the instructions. I believe we're going through this hole here. I'm going to attach them together just like that, again with an EM screw. So yeah, we'll start getting this in. I believe that's the way it is. It's quite difficult to see black on black in the instructions. They used to highlight the parts, which made it a bit easier to see, but yeah, they started doing the black on black in the instructions, which doesn't really help. So we are, I believe that's to go on there just like that. So now we're going to be bringing in our suspension arm, which is this just here, and I believe this is going to be going on there. So we want this little part here is going to go into this hole here, and again an 8IM screw is going to secure that on. That's one of the flange screws, so we can secure that on from the bottom. And there we are, just a little bit more. That's better. So I believe that is right. If not, we'll revisit that later, but it does look right to what they've done in the magazine. So yeah. So the final part to do is to take this rubber part here, and we're just going to push that over the end, just on there, just like that. So that is going to stay in there for us, and we don't use these parts. We carry them over to the next issue. Stage 10. Here is your magazine. We can flick through this. Loads about Roman Pierce today, I believe. Let's get to the back. It's only a couple of pages to do, but we do get a lot of parts. So we're going to be connecting these arms together, adding these parts onto the actual engine itself and securing them down, making these parts up, just like so, building them up, making more of the exhaust, just like so, that gets attached onto there, and basically we're just adding more to these exhausts here, as you can see. But yeah, the engine is starting to come together and start to look really awesome. We do add them on there as well. But yeah, this goes on the front, and that's what we should have by the end of this stage. So I've opened the parts up, took the top of the tray up. That's all the parts that we get. Get quite a few parts in this issue, and we get 4 different types of screws. We get KP, AP, CP and KM screws for this stage. Okay, so the first things we're going to need is these 2 black parts here, and they are going to go together. You can't really put them in the wrong way because there is like a D shape on there, which helps you locate that on. So that is what you should have. And then just on there, we do have a hole for this, and we want this facing in the way, just like so. So we can secure that down just like that. So we keep that to the end of this stage. So next we have these 2 parts here. They are the same. So yeah, don't worry if you mix them up. We're going to need KM screws for this one, and our engine block that we had from last time. So on the back, just here, that's where we're going to apply them, just onto there. You can see the screw holes there. So we can take one of these, and they're just going to locate on there, just like that. So that's one, and this one as well. And then we're going to secure them in with 4 KM screws in the 4 holes just there. So we do get KM and KP, so make sure you do get the right one. Secure that down. So that one, let's get the next one in. I do like the look of this engine, so can't wait till it's done. It does look really, really nice. At the minute, all my shelves are cleaned up with engines. I've got the Batmobile engine, the turbine engine for that sitting out, and the John Wick engine as well. So lots of engines. That's screwed out. And there you are. Next we can take these 2 parts, which are these ones here. This is 10J and 10K. I believe we want it that way around, so we can push them together, so it sort of gives it that effect. So let's do that again with this one, just like that. And we are going to take these 2 parts, and we are going to line this up on the front here. So with this way around, this way around, it will just marry up onto there, and then we're going to use a CP screw on the front of that. So the CP screw is going just down here into this hole here, right in the center. It's the first one. Now the second one. Just like that. So you should have them 2 parts, just like that. Next we're going to take this part here, and attach that to one of these. So you can pick one, and that's going to go on the front just there, and 3 KP screws in there. So let's get the first of the KP screws in. One. Number 2. Finally, the third one just in this hole around the other side here. There we are. Now if we bring back our engine block, you see we do have a peg on here and 2 holes on here. One is for the peg, just like that. It's going to sit sort of to the side, just like that. And then an AP screw is going to go down the centre. So the holes are lined up. There we are. That's now attached onto there. So next we're going to take this part here and here. So we're going to attach these 2 together. So these are going to be attached with a KP screw. So I'm just going to get that started to make this a bit easier to hold. And then make sure this is on the right way. There you are. I believe that's what you should have. Something that looks a little like that. Next we can attach these 2 together. So taking this way round and this way round, this is going to attach onto the front of that one. Just like so. And again, 3 KP screws. Number 1 all the way down. Number 2. And the third one now, just in here. There we are. So now we can attach this one to the engine. So this one's going to go in front of that one. So sort of like that. That coming off to the side, just next to this one. And again, we need an AP screw down the centre to secure that on. And there we are. Starting to fill up now and bulk up this engine. So next we want these 2 parts here. And they're going to go down on top of these parts here. So we want this one. So this way around, it's going to line up onto there. There's a couple of pegs. Let's go slide onto there. This one is going to slide onto here. Just like that. So next we're going to take these 2 parts here. And they're just going to go in. We've got some peg holes here and a peg on here. And we do have a little peg here. But that's going to sit just the opposite side of there. So we're going to lower that down, line that up. Squeeze that onto there. That's going to sit just on there. And we can do exactly the same on the other one. So this is going on here. Just like so. So the final part is this one here. So this is just going to plug into the end of that engine, just like that. That is looking really, really awesome so far. But that has got one more part to go on, which is going to go towards the front here. We can add, this one is going into here, so it's going to go fit into this pipe here. So let's try and get that in. It's quite an awkward angle to get that in. But there we are. That is looking really, really good. And that is all we have to do in this stage. Stage 11. We continue with the engine. As we get to the build stages at the back. There we are, stage 11, we're doing the injection system. So a lot of small parts in this one. We are going to need some tweezers, which they do supply, and some sprue cutters as well to cut them off. So with these parts, as you might have seen in the John Wick video I did earlier this week, I do glue these parts in because I don't want them falling out. So they're going to be glued in. So basically we're going to attach this part onto here, cut them all off, and then we're going to start fitting their injectors into there. And this is going to go down on here. So then we're just going to add some more parts and pipes onto there as well. And finally, on the back, a couple of additional parts. Getting really bulky, this engine now. Okay, so to start off with, we're going to take this part here, and as you can see, just on here, we've got 4 pegs that we're going to be pegging this onto. So this is going to go with the peg hole side, this side. We can push that onto the front, just there. So now we can put that to the side, and we're going to start with this one. So we're going to want the blue injectors for this one, and your sprue cutters. Go ahead and cut all of these off. So with all of them disconnected, we can start gluing them into here. So I'm going to glue these, I believe. So we want the black end to go in the top holes of each one of these. So I'll show you me doing the first one. Just dip that in a bit of glue, and in the bottom holes we're just going to secure that on. So push that in, just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and do the next 5 all the way across there. So there you go, that is all of them in there. And yeah, so now we've got the 6 holes at the top, which is for the red ones. So yeah, go ahead, cut them off and install them the same way. So once you've done that, that is what you should have. Then we're going to need this little baggie here, which has got all these little parts in it. We're going to be installing them as well. These are going to be going on these parts just here. All the way down, you can see some of the paint of that came off onto my fingers. But yeah, so we're going to be installing these into there. I believe we want them, I don't know if you can make that out, but we believe we want them that way round. Don't know why they didn't have us put these in when this part was more accessible. I'm not gluing these parts in, these are quite snug. I don't believe these will need any glue. Couple more to go. And there we are, that's them installed in there. That's quite fiddly getting them in there. So now this part is going to be installed down on top of there, I believe, with the red parts facing down. Yep, with the red parts facing down, we can push this down onto there, just like that. And we can take these 2 parts. So this filter is going to be going on here, just there, and then this part going to be going just on here, just like that. Next we do have these 2 peg holes. That is for these. I believe we want them in that way, like that, and this one the opposite. You can turn these if they're not facing them exactly the right way. We can turn them later. So yeah, they should fit flush like that. So the right one goes onto this side, the left one goes onto that side. Next we're going to be adding these 2 pipes. So this one is going to go onto the ends of this. So we want to push that into there and on the other side as well. Oh. There we are. Now this one is going to be going onto here. going to plug into the back of this one. Just like that. Now we can take these parts here and start assembling these. So this one is going to slide into the top hole. Then we can take this with the peg, and that's going to plug into the back of that one. And this one is going to go on the other end. Just like that. And that can be pegged onto the side just here. So you make sure you've got them two holes at the top. So now just on top of that pump, just here, we do have two holes. That is where this part is going to go. So we can push that onto there, just like that. Okay, then just under that, if we lift that up, just under there, we've got a hole which we can slide that into, just like that, and then a BM screw to secure that down. This little part has come out as well. I'm probably going to glue that in because it's quite a loose fit. There we are. So I'm just going to drop this in a touch of glue. So the final part now is this part here, which is going to plug into the front of here. So we've got two peg holes and two pegs. And that's just going to go onto there, just like that. Our engine is really starting to come together now. With that, that is this issue all complete. Stage 12 now. Here's your magazine. And we are back on the suspension again. So we're doing basically exactly the same as what we started out with issue 9, and doing exactly the same to the opposite side. Yeah, doing exactly the same as issue 9 in this one. So this one, we should know what we're doing. So just like before, we're going to take these two parts, slide them together, and then add the bracket onto there. Just like that. Again, a couple of AM screws to secure that on. And the second one. So that is that on there, just like so. Again, now we can add this part on the top with our flange screw. There we are. Now with a couple of EM screws, we are going to secure this part onto there, just like that. So let's grab our EM screw and screw that onto there. And this one this side. And there we are. Now we can secure this on, showing us the opposite way around now. So we want this way, and this is going to go on the back, just there. And again, another EM screw. So we're going to go through the front. Let's make sure we get that nice and tight. You can't really see because my hands are in the way, but it's quite difficult to hold and screw at the same time. There we are. That is that on there. Now if we bring back our suspension, we can do this, go in the opposite hole here. So we do need a flange screw, which is an AIM screw. We can turn this upside down and secure that in. So I'm just going to double check, make sure that is right. Yep, so the final part, we just put this little rubber part on the part under there. That is all we have to do in this stage. A couple more stages to go now. Stage 13. Continuing on with the suspension. See, we get a load of springs. And yeah, so we're going to be adding that on there. We're going to be actually making the actual suspension parts, adding them onto there, and making this rod part that's going to go all the way across the steering rod. That's going to be added on there. Look at that. That's what we should have by the end of stage 13. So we're going to start off by making the left front shock absorber. So we're going to need the left side of there. Don't know if these are exactly the same. They look the same. What else are we going to need? So right one. We need the left one of them as well. They are labelled on the side. So with an EM screw, we're going to take the top of that. We're going to slide that into there, and we're going to secure that on with an EM screw, just for the hole there. Secure that all the way down. On that bit tight, so it doesn't. We don't want that wobbly. So we've got that. Now we can take one of the springs and the left socket absorber parts. We're going to slide that onto there. This is going to lock down into place on here. Just got to push it down and then twist it to make that look like that. So now with an AIM screw, we're going to take that and we're going to add this to this. So this is going to go on this little part here. And we can secure that on. So let's get that onto there. That on. Now we've basically got to do exactly the same, but for the opposite side. So let's secure this one on top of here. This is got to go a certain way, by the way. So you want the key notch. So yeah, I've put this one on the right way. So yeah, that wants to be that way. Now we can take our spring, which is still in here. Yeah, take the spring, put that on top. And we're going to lower this down into there, push and twist. So that is what you should have. That's gone on there. AIM screw again to secure that on. There we are. That is them on there. Okay, now we can make up the steering rod. So we're going to connect these parts together. So you want the one labelled R. So it's got an R. This one. Just there. And this is going to be an MM screw. So let's get this one on. All the way down. There we are. So now we can put the left hand side on, do exactly the same. Okay, this is getting screwed in from the opposite side. That's what you should have so far. something that looks a little like that. So next we're going to take this part here, which is plastic, with these two here, lay that in there just like that. Actually, just a little bit of an edit here. I did put these on the wrong way round, so I had them on the right way round, but just on the opposite side. So yeah, make sure you get it this way round for this part coming up here. So now we're going to take that part that we just made, we're going to slide that into there, lining it up with the holes here, and also we're going to be lowering this arm in here. So we want this one this side in there, and this one this side in there. Secure this on there. So now we can put a couple of AM screws in there. So that's the first one. Last couple of steps of the stage. That one and this one here as well. There we are. Then finally we're going to take these UM screws. Just need 2 of them, although I do have 2 different types of screws in there. But yeah, we want the flange one. That's going to go just in the ends to hold these rods in place. Nice and tight, and then do the same on the opposite side. So yeah, once you've done that, that is what you should have, and that is all there is to do in this stage. So the final issue for today is your magazine. Get to the park really quick and easy. We are doing the front left brake with this one. So as you can see, we've done the front right brake. We're just going to plug the caliper together, add the 2 brake discs together, ZP screw in each side to secure that down, and yeah, that's all we have to do. Okay, final stage. Let's get the caliper together. Take the 2 parts, push the 2 pegs together and squeeze that together just like that. Then we can take our brake disc, lining up the holes just like that, and then a couple of ZP screws is going to finish off this pack. So let's get that back in there and secure that down. One last screw now. It is nice to finish on a very easy issue, because finding the ones with the black on black with the subframe very hard to do. So that is this stage all complete. That will go in there. So that's this stage all complete. Then our brake disc. We started working on our subframe and suspension, and our engine as well. That is all there is to do in this stage. That is this pack complete. So that's it, guys. That is pack 4 all complete. That took quite a while to do. We were on, what we were on, 1 hour and 22 minutes. So that's how long it took to film this video. That's mainly because seeing the black on black instructions is really hard to see where they go. And yeah, I accidentally put these shock absorbers on down the bottom here. But yeah, we all make mistakes. So yeah, nobody's perfect, but yeah, I do like the look of that engine. Look at that. That is really nice. So join me again next time, guys, when we do pack 5. That'll probably be out in a few weeks' time. So I hope you liked this video, guys. If you did, please remember to leave a like down below. And if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye.